What's up, guys? It's your boys. I am WillProduces. Welcome to the Caffeinds cast, episode 11. I'm your host, and with me, as always, is our clan dad, PerkFGC, and our guest this week, none other than Ixlock, aka Lucas. He's the real clan dad, is what I'm learning.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
Whoa.
whoa.
I just want to say,
Well, I can't take that. That's
we're
a
gonna
completely
start.
different thing.
Hold on, we have to start. We gotta have clan dad and then clan space dad.
I'll just leave.
I'll
Say it. I'm gonna come out and say
I mean, at this point, I'll
Lucas-
just have Gino could just call me old man from now on. That's fine.
Lucas is clan
You heard it here
father.
first, Gino.
it. Clan father.
He's clan father.
Clan papa.
My father.
Clan papa.
All right.
Clan papa.
Well-
I'm the founder. It's different. I mean, I also do. Yeah, okay. It's fine. I have my own set to look after at the playground. So,
Man, can I start these
the
podcasts
rest
or
of
what?
Caffeinds.
Wow.
Guys,
Man.
raise
Yeah,
your,
you did
Man,
such
you
a
just
great
dove
job.
in there.
Such a
dove
great
in.
job. I was so ready for that question. Yeah, let's cheers. That's cool. I'm with that.
See, Peter's like, that's kind of awkward.
Yep.
raise your caffeinated beverages.
Oh,
Doink.
right.
Lucas, are you tea this week? Okay. Well,
That's a controller.
teal,
All right.
teal colored controller.
Kind of
Get
matches your
upstairs.
shirt.
Like a true gamer, I'm
Thank you.
drinking a Monster Juice
Yeah.
Pipeline Punch. Shout out to Monster.
There you go. You
been,
look like a dad this week too. You're like looking at us over the glasses, over the top. You're like, well,
Yeah.
I've got this there.
It's been a long week,
That's
guys. Let's go right into what we're grinding. I'll start. Behind me is my brand ass new apartment that I just moved into 2 days ago. We still don't have air conditioning. In fact, we won't get air conditioning until next Tuesday. So welcome to the sweaty episode of the show because I got lights on.
Actually sweaty.
Yeah, no, like I will
Sweat,
be like
dude.
jumping out of frame to dab the sweat off my brow.
Love it.
This is a total I feel like I've been spoiled for the past 4 or 5 years because I had central air in my last apartment, and now I'm like, I was trying to install my air conditioner yesterday, and so I put like the rack outside the window, and just like pieces of it fell off, and I was like, cool. No, I'm not doing this. I need to go get those things for my downstairs neighbor's roof now, and I need to call someone so I don't have liability if shit drops off my window. So we're just gonna wait it out. It'll take a few days of being sweaty, but that's my grind. No Destiny for me this week. Lucas, what have you been up to?
I did the normal comp Mondays, which was always a fun time. Little tough this Monday. I know some people in the chat watched that. It was little went up a little bit, then we went down a little bit, and then we went up a little bit, and then we went down, and we ended up around where we were when we started. So hopefully this Monday it'll get better. I've been playing a lot of not Destiny right now because I'm waiting for the cool stuff. And I've been
Not
playing
Destiny.
Marvel's Avengers.
I do want to have a discussion on
It's
that.
been fun.
Like
I enjoy it.
after we get
We're gonna
through
definitely
our-
talk about what
our
we're not
There's-
playing.
Yeah, there's some, whenever we decide to do it, there's a lot of interesting stuff in that game. I thought it was going to be a one type of game, and it turned out to be quite a different game in a good way. Like it's deep in ways that I didn't think it would be. So good news there. That's what I've been doing.
It's really good.
I was watching you stream it to the Discord last night.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like I was like, I'm not getting this game because of what Sony's doing.
I
And I'm
know,
watching
I
you play.
know.
I'm like, shit, this game
I
looks
know.
good.
It looks good, yeah.
fun. There's like
It's
there's
natural.
like it's just fun. I like it's good solid fun, but like there's the stuff that scratches the Destiny itch for me is all there.
Right.
So when I can play that until I feel like I can play that until I get to until we get to the release of the coolness.
Hell yeah, man. All right, Perk. How about
that.
you?
I'm actually grinding I'm grinding to find a game that I want to put time into. We'll talk about it more a little bit later. But I spoke a lot about getting into doing some MMOs and stuff like that. A lot of you may know that I'm really into fighting games, and with the whole quarantine thing, it's been rough to play fighting games exclusively online without having any offline events to kind of look and sort of get into. So I've been grinding for a game And actually, I spent a couple hours today playing Path of Exile, which has been really fun. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I got my Luna's Howl last week. I'm good to go on that front. Actually, you know what? I'll take it back. I need to finish Solstice because I think this week's the last week, and I've completely just put off doing it.
Same.
I need to do Solstice.
I think Peter was doing that yesterday.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually put the time in and do some Solstice gear. Because I've just completely I was like, I did this last summer. I don't care. I'll get it done at some point.
I realized that the only thing I really wanted from Solstice was the ship, and then I just got shelled out for the silver and got it.
Yeah,
so.
you're like,
success.
$2 $2,
Yep.
and then we'll be done with it.
All right, well, that brings us into the stuff that we actually care about this week, and that is that Bungie has put out a whole bunch of materials on the upcoming classes for Beyond Light, starting with the Warlock on Tuesday at Reset. We got a spotlight on what is going to be called the Shade Binder. Let me pull it up here. There we are.
It's a binder full of shaders.
We said we weren't going to make that joke.
Oh, I made a different one. It's okay. You can't take it. You can't hurt me with it if I take it first. That's the rule.
Okay, Firefly theme song. The Warlock's Shade Binder. The class itself is all about freezing your enemies, as we find out from today's TWA, which we will get to later. But the main focus of the subclass is Winter's Wrath, which is the Stasis staff. You can also detonate with an AoE, which we saw last week during all of our tape review, and the Penumbral Blast, which I'm not sure if it's like part of the super or the melee still. We're going to probably find out as we dip into this article.
Penumbral Blast sounds like a Capri Sun flavor. I'm just going to put that out there right now.
It's like an edgy, emo Capri Sun.
Yeah, it's like Penumbral Blast.
Like Penumbral Blue.
Like they...
Yeah, right? Or like Gatorade or something.
It's like instead of having like a straw taped to the back of the Capri Sun, there's like a razor blade. Anyway,
Lord.
So you fire a stasis projectile similar to the fireballs from Top Tree Dawnblade, and any enemies that get hit by it are frozen solid immediately. So a lot of focus on freezing from the Warlocks. As we scroll, Perk, is there anything that we should see here?
I mean, this is all stuff. I mean, I think it looks really cool. It's one of those things where like there's not exactly enough in this article to get us to really understand what it is, I guess. I mean, Warlock go freezy, and like they're kind of going over their like freezing and destruction, which seems to be two different kind of paradigms for them. So it's interesting to see them drop this little nugget of info as a document, as opposed to like a full-on. This is one of the things that I kind of like appreciate about Bungie, but also wish they did a little differently, is that, you know, if it was any other MMO or something like that, we saw a new subclass being added, we would literally see hey, here's the introduction to the class, this is how they handle mobs, and this is what they do, and all that other stuff. I think Bungie doesn't do that for specific reasons, those being they want us to be the ones to discover it first. Which makes a lot of sense, but it also leaves a lot up to interpretation and ambiguity, personally. So it's one of those things where there is a lot of interesting stuff with it, but I wish we could see it.
They might do some playthroughs.
Yeah,
occasionally they've done that in the past, where they do like the ride along or playthrough or something like that, and you get to see some of the stuff in action.
Yeah, rather than just kind of like a HUD-less, like, you know, cut up shot of them kind of using the abilities and stuff like that. I want to see the damage numbers. I want to see what the output is and stuff like that.
I think that also they can be hesitant to show those things because they will change right before release, and then also they're like those get patched, right? So
for sure. That's a thought as well.
So looking into this article, I'm holding back like the deepest sneeze I know, but the Penumbral Blast is the melee, so that'll be on your melee cooldown. Your strength will help you freeze enemies. The super is the staff. The staff also fires projectiles that instantly freeze, as well as having the AoE. Now here's sort of the big
full-on Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
My favorite Mortal Kombat character. So here's the big sort of meat of this article, which is our first look at the skill tree or skill system, rather, of this class. We know that the Warlocks are they retain their rift, but the functionality is a little different. It's a symbol that gets put on the ground and enemies entering get frozen, and we see that here in the abilities tab. The jump, we'll have to see how that works. We have seen, or we have heard rather, that hunters will have blink. That is the current rumor. This is the melee, I believe, and the super is this the staff. So those are all of our abilities, but you can see here there are two other things on this menu. There's the aspects and fragments. Do you guys want to jump into this, or should I just sort of peel through it?
Well, first I want to I have more impactful things to say on the Titan, so I'm going to reserve that. But as far as these aspects and abilities, I friggin' love this. This is great.
This is great.
This is what we've wanted. We've wanted literally this in one window. This is the kind of thing that we have wanted. I know for us since D1. We wanted some form of meaningful progression and things that it just leveled up. Because if you look at Destiny in the way that it always was, it was literally like, hi, here's the potential for your class. Just play a bunch and you'll level the shit up and it'll be fine. Same with the guns from D1. They eventually added the motes of light and they switched its role from an XP thing to a material. Remember that, where we could consume it into the weapons and just basically pump it up so that we can then level it and actually use the perks on the weapon. So when I'm looking at this, this is everything that we have wanted. You have aspects and you have fragments. Aspects, I hope that those are going to be things that they add more of as time goes on.
Exactly.
I hope that there are meaningful, long, fun story quests. I think back to it. Somebody posted on Twitter the other day that they were, I saw that they were, there's a lot. There's actually one in our clan, Orange. They're just D2 Guardians. They've never played D1. They never got into it, or maybe they dabbled in it a little bit, but they didn't have friends to really chew on it with. So they kind of just, cast it aside, which is completely understandable. But the post that I saw is someone was like, this is so badass. This is so awesome. And they were doing the Stormcaller quest. When you're actually in the Crucible map that's on Mars, the split level asymmetric Crucible map, where it kind of has that little house and the inside and the outside, that you can go up on the outside of it and you go through the whole thing and you have to go in and absorb the storm surge as your warlock, and it's freaking unbelievable. There's a little cutscene. Ikora talks to you, being the warlock vanguard. You have this beautiful moment of bonding with your character. You're understanding the subclass and all the things that it means to it, because for the first year of Destiny's life and its first 2 expansions as well, if you're a warlock, you only got to wield void and solar. So getting that third rock paper scissors element added in a really, really meaningful way was outrageous. It was just so fun. That was the first thing I did when Taken King came out. I was like, I just want all these. I did it for my hunter as well, and I enjoyed it the most for my Titan, obviously, because you're out there in the solar light. You get a little bit of lore. You're hearing about for the Titans, they were talking about I think they were called Siege Breakers. I forget their exact name, but they were basically this little enclave, right? Sunbreakers. But the Siege Breakers were actually, I think the Siege Breakers are something in the lore. There's basically a little enclave of Titans that kind of went outside. They were an extracurricular, sort of like Ikora's Hidden. They were a little mini faction of Titans that did stuff, and they wielded the solar hammer. So I might be off on the name. You can check that, but I just remember bonding so much with it, and I felt so just connected to its lore and just all of its just the whole thing. Going and getting the subclass, as trivial as the quest was, it was enjoyable. Getting that subclass, it just felt like an RPG thing I was doing.
Getting the void bow is awesome.
You earned it. You felt like you were oh, I'm here, we're doing this, and this is awesome. And I really hope that something like this, where obviously we're going to be given the subclasses, assumingly pretty early on in the quest, because everything about Beyond Light is about Stasis so far. So I expect a story mission or two to go by before we have the subclass. But I love the slots, and it really brings me back to that. What I started saying is that we need this. This is so long coming, and this leaves it open. not only for expansions down the line, because maybe, maybe we'll get the min max for what Stasis is going to be. Maybe it's going to be like, oh yeah, for this raid or for this dungeon, Warlock should use Stasis. This is the optimal thing. This is the optimal exotic to go with it. The same way that we've been doing for years with Destiny, right? Like just, the builds, the go-to, the meta. But it leaves the slot open for growth on a subclass level, let alone just a character level and an RPG kind of element to it. So I am thrilled to see this, Lucas. I want to hear what you have to say about it. I love it.
I love it. I love it. Like I agree. Like, and there's a lot of times where we'll be like some opposites on a lot of things, but in this case, like I'm 100% in agreement with you. I love the way this looks. I love the way this feels. I like the fact that, especially, and you touched on it, was the aspects. There's different slots now, but there's so much room for more. Like right now, this one that I think Will had up was casting a rift generates a shockwave that freezes nearby combatants. Like that's cool. Well, maybe there's a solar one down the line that then burns combatants, or there's a void one that then maybe at some point maybe the warlock gets slow or something, or slowing ability or something else down the line, and or maybe like there's enhanced healing or something, and you get sort of that almost not classes, because I'm not a huge fan of like distinct classes in MMO type games, but when you have the ability to sort of like, we need a healer type class. Okay, well, I'll spec into that with I'll put this on my rift. I'll put this on my jump. I'll change my grenade to this. So maybe it's a healing grenade or something like that. And so your job is just to keep everybody alive and be in the back and just, fire your primary and secondary. But ideally most of or actually in this case, you could probably use the Lumina as well and become like full on healer and have healer everything if you wanted to. But like, that's the what you could do with this, like just go full on into all these different directions without having to change the classes so deeply or worry about like if it's too overpowered or not. Because if something's overpowered, you can now just tweak the one little thing.
Exactly.
You don't have to tweak the entire class or then make sure that, if I tweak this, okay, now it has to work with this and this and this, because these are all interconnected. They're not really interconnected now. They are, but differently. And I really like where this can go. I think it's a great start, and I think it's where it can go is going to be awesome.
Yeah, you're looking at the slide too. If you look in the lower left, you see that like not only just these are not just like your standard subclass perks where you're just like, all right, I'm picking which tree I want. You're even further than D1 where we were picking specific nodes. But like D1 where there was one specific set of perks in the middle where you can be like, okay, I want more resilience. I want more, this. If you notice, there is a drawback to using this node, the Whisper of Bonds. You lose 10 intellect and 10 discipline. So defeating frozen targets with weapons gives you super energy, which is great. But they're like, you're going to have a 10 like degree lowered cooldown reduction because of the potential of the trade-off, which is all about the min-max, which I love. So there's a lot there. And
you see, like on the previous screenshot where it showed Frost Pulse, there's fragment slots. So this one has 3 slots. So it's not just like I put on Whisper of Bonds and I choose that and that's it. It's similar to the mod system, but like it's perpetual. Like it's like when you take off your gun, you still have the ability to do these things,
right?
Which is really cool, and that's a huge difference. I think
that is you hit the nail on the head. Like that's everything, because that's the thing is like we want these mods and stuff like this. Like I love the mods, but I don't really want them to be on one gun that I might switch 5 different times.
Exactly. I want to use different guns.
Yeah, I want to use different stuff, and I want my character to be my character regardless of what I'm holding.
What's interesting about this stuff is this is the core MMO customization that people have been asking for like ever. Like it's so interesting that like we've been on this Destiny grind forever, taking a little break to play some MMOs outside the game, and now like looking at this, I'm like, this is standard. Oh wait, no, it isn't. And it's super interesting. You can see the fragment slots that it has here. Alongside the ones that are here. I think all these little pips show your choices. So the way that they've broken out the subclasses is just like in your class abilities, you had a choice between 2. So there's whatever is equipped and what else there is underneath it. So if this was Healing Rift or whatever, or Empowering Rift, which makes me wonder if this Frost Pulse aspect is what we saw in that trailer, or if it's inherent and this just does like a tick similar to the way Landfall does when you cast it.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be, yeah.
And then you see the 3 different jumps. The melee has no like. Maybe it's not the melee. Maybe there's.
Well, I think
it is super effects or.
I think the way it works is I think one of those is the jump and one of those is the like you know the sort of in the current one you have the big diamond, then you have like your grenade choices up here, you have
100%.
your wells here, and the others just touch my mic.
Wait,
the ones below there.
100%. So this thing on the right.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's grenades. It's not super ability.
Yeah.
So this staff here is melee, and then I think the super ability is obviously the big like diamond over here.
It's usually the subclass symbol.
Rift, jump, melee, and grenade from chat.
I love the colors. Like dark blue is like my favorite color. The fade, like with the black. I love ice abilities. Like they're hitting everything so good for me. So like you're gonna hear from me a lot about Stasis. If it's good or if it's bad, I'm gonna have like lots of feelings because ice is like my favorite shit, and I can't wait to use it.
This reminds me a ton of the original artifact system from D1.
Yes, it does.
But like taken to another extreme and kind of combined with the PvP template system that you would get in Guild Wars 2, where you would get a trinket that has all of your stats attached to it, and like these minor items apply to pretty much like cosmetics and stuff.
Kind of like Marvel's Avengers, actually.
Okay. Oh boy, that's our new benchmark now. Okay. We have a new benchmark.
Sorry.
Sorry.
He had to. He had to do it.
So we've got the B-roll running for the Shade Binder. Should have done that off screen. Running it in half speed here. What do we think of just like the texture on like the iced up dudes?
It looks good. I mean, we talked about this last week too when we first saw like a lot of this video. It looks great. I love seeing it as more of an actual texture instead of just a glow. Like every super, if you go into Destiny 2 right now, you activate a super, you're just glowing. If it's hammers, you're glowing orange. If it's Dawnblade, you're glowing orange. If it's arc, you're glowing light blue. So the fact that we can visibly see like a texture change, like right there on like the leg, on all these characters as you're moving through, there's stuff on them. They look like bumpy, like they have ice on them and stuff like that. I think this kind of coincides with the little bit of the leaks that we saw where it's like we might be shifting into a newer engine, something that can kind of handle more, putting out more polygons, supporting more textures and stuff like that. So
can we talk about how good that the skill tree screen looked? And like got the field.
It looked awesome.
Yeah,
like it looked nice.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
It's very clean. Very clean.
Yeah,
very minimalist.
Good colors, and they used gradients. They used a gradient, Lucas.
I know.
You liked it, and they used a gradient, and I liked it because I like gradients. It was so good. Everybody's happy. It's so good.
Fine.
He almost did his "Oh Bother" emote live for everybody. We got close.
I gotta ask, what's the problem with gradients, Lucas?
I'm just not a fan of them. That's all. I'm just gonna leave it at that for now.
We need a Lucas.
I love it.
We need a Lucas
it's
right
controversial.
at the end of the show. We'll continue, but I'm gonna bring gradients.
I've almost given up the gradient life too. It's okay. All right.
So
secretly I win.
Let's put a bow on Warlocks here. Neither of you are Warlock mains. How do you feel about this as someone who's going to have to play against a Warlock that has these abilities?
If I may just jump in first, so Perk doesn't steal this, but I also play some fighting games, not as into it as our resident Perk is, but
say his full name. PerkFGC.
Say his full name.
But what? Name. Oh god, no! I lost my thought. No, but what I was gonna say is it's kind of like having to play against Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
I feel like it's going to be something like that, where if it's because I play a lot of PvP, as is on Mondays, but
right.
so I feel like when Stasis comes out, I'm going to have to learn how to play around. Okay, well, how do I avoid getting frozen? I'm a hunter, so from what I gather thus far, hunter's all about slowing. So maybe my tactic, being that I have the speed and the slow, is I'm jumping out of the way while slowing them down so that their freeze misses me or something like that. That might be the way of navigating around the freeze or something like that, or maybe like it's obscuring them with like something akin to a smoke grenade that slows them so they can't see me as well, so they miss. Maybe that's what it's all about with hunter. Again, I don't know, but that's how I would play around it. As a hunter, do I wish I had it freezing powers? Of course, because any Sub-Zero power freezing is cool. But I'm interested to see what slow is.
It is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely interested. Like they think it hits something really too, right? There's an often used term in a lot of games, whether it be a MOBA or an ARPG or anything, is crowd control, right? When you're dealing with a lot of mobs, sometimes you need to do something, and like it's a very common thing is crowd control. So what I'm kind of hopeful that maybe the hunters have a little something that can perform some more of that, because it's kind of what the tether bow was crowd control, realistically. Crowd control and like debuff. So curious to see what they can add and what they bring to the game. I have a feeling like, because hunters are the most popular class by like a good margin, I'm assuming the hunter being left for last makes the most sense. So I'm sure that's going to be. I'm expecting to see that kind of next week, honestly.
But I said the 8th, I think, is when they're showing it.
All right, perfect. So that lines up.
We all know Warlocks are the best class, just like an oldest child going first. If you ain't first, you're last.
Nah.
All right.
Moving on to Titan subclass.
That's fine. No, hold on. As the Warlock main, as the representative of the Praxic Order here on this podcast,
we have all three right now, don't we?
Yeah,
sorry, just completely. Wow.
I'm excited. I love ranged melees on Warlocks. I think they make the class feel really unique compared to like.
They do.
Yeah, like every class has a ranged melee, whether it's hammy or like throwing knives, but like the way Warlocks do
hammy,
it's so different, and it feels different than the other classes. Can't wait for more of that. Think this is headed in the right direction. Also, it kind of makes me feel like earlier we saw a trailer for Beyond Light that had like slow, freeze, and then shatter as like these buzzwords about the expansion, which makes me think that they're not really a 3-part cycle like we thought they were. Like they're independent mechanics that function together but that aren't necessarily one phase after the other. Like not like Anthem's priming system, which was taken out of Mass Effect, just from seeing what's going on. So speaking of what's going on, let's move it on to the Titan.
Yeah, let's go to the Titan.
And while you're bringing it up, I think you mentioned slow, freeze, and shatter. I think it's there that for PvE it opens up so many cool things where maybe if you're doing like say like a Grandmaster Nightfall or something like that, maybe it's more based on those skills. So maybe the hunter slows them down so the Warlock can freeze them, and then the Titan comes in and smashes and is able to get out because they're still slow afterwards without being killed. That could be something very interesting.
I gotta say, I'm really jealous of this helmet. Not to totally just graze over.
He looks like Master Chief. Just say it. It's so cool.
It's so cool. That's honestly one of the reasons why I jive with Titan so much, because it felt like I was like, oh, this is kind of like Master Chief. I was like, let's go. Like, because I was a Halo player before Destiny, so that was one of the reasons why I always went Titan. I want to go into this in detail if you don't mind. So first, crashing like an avalanche. Freaking love that. A behemoth is a great name for the subclass. And they're saying it's high offense and high defense, creating the solid stasis crystals to provide cover or platforms from which to leap. During their super, behemoths can jump higher, faster, and further with unlimited melee energy and high damage mitigation. So this sounds like a tank in a Holy Trinity MMO aspect. Damage mitigation, melee energy, like you're running at them and you're doing melee DPS.
Yep.
Then you've got Shiver Strike and Ground Control, and then Glacial Quake, I guess, is the third one. Glacial Quake says that behemoths compel stasis energy to attach to their body, covering themselves in frozen darkness, performing a stasis gauntlet on one hand, or forming a stasis gauntlet on one hand, excuse me, increasing the damage resistance in the process. So that's your damage mitigation. Shiver Strike's got summoning the gauntlet and lunges forward with explosive speed, smashing through anything. So that's the thing that we saw where they were kind of like crashing straight through, reaching the target, and you unleash a devastating jab that sends their foe careening backwards while slowing nearby enemies. That sounds so good. Like the Shiver Strike, I'm calling it now. That's probably going to be the one that I lean towards when this subclass first comes out. And then Ground Control. The behemoth slams their gauntlet into the ground, sending out the tremors of stasis energy, leaving crystals in their wake and freezing all enemies. That's the one that we saw. We were talking about that last week. That was like that cone AoE kind of thing. So that makes sense. So that's literally, we know what that is now. That's Ground Control's super.
Speaking of doing that. Speaking of cones, leave it to the Titans to have all of their abilities sound like Dairy Queen fucking.
I'm all about it, dude. I'm gonna get a milkshake tonight. I'm gonna have half of it. It's gonna be sick. I'm gonna get one on behalf of the Titan getting announced today.
Oh bother!
It's gonna be dope. I'm gonna put a DoorDash request in right now. Watch me. I'm gonna eat half. I'm gonna send a picture. It's gonna be great. Look at this guy. Look at him.
Do you eat or drink?
Yeah, you straw only.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Straw only. Sometimes we'll get a sip if it's milky.
Because I know sometimes there's spoon life when it comes to milkshakes.
Nah, I don't spoon. If they give me a spoon, I'm offended. I put that away.
Nah, you ain't.
I don't want that at all.
This is not a Wendy's.
I don't even do Wendy's. I sip Wendy's. We don't do spoons. It's not allowed. I understand the cup as a vessel for transporting the thing, but it's the same way. I wouldn't eat cereal out of a cup. I have before, and I will again if I have to. But
that's more mobile cereal.
It's not the proper vessel.
I will again if I have to. Is a hilarious threat. I've eaten cereal out of a cup. I'll do it again.
I'll do it again if I have to. But I'm just saying, it's like it's not proper. Like it's not the correct thing. You know what I mean? Barry Freestyle wants to know if you should order it now. I'll text you. Don't worry about it. But yeah, like this honestly, just this whole thing has me just excited. Like look at this Titan just lunging for that servitor, ready to pop him. Like oof, it's so good.
The correct term
is what I wanted.
He's going to fist the servitor.
Yeah, it's fine. Right in the center. That's beautiful.
Question for you two, just because we're on this, and I was thinking about the different classes and how they're becoming sort of more MMO style, where you're staying with the one character more than playing multiple as much. With the way the sort of aspects are and the way you can upgrade those, it's almost like mods for your character. It seems like I'm curious if this is going to happen if they're just doing it with this particular subclass, or will the others also have the existing ones be in this sort of way as well?
I think they will. Did we get actually?
I forget if they
I don't think the Warlock had a document or not.
So what's happening is they said that the Stasis subclasses will be the first subclasses to use this system, and then they will re-roll the other subclasses eventually.
Oh, for those, cool. Yeah.
And then the other thing was like, because it's getting a little more MMO in a good way and a little more deep into the one character thing, will we see as many people playing multiple characters as once? That's interesting, I thought.
You have this dream that everybody plays one character and they role play as their character forever, and you don't want to have... You're not all about alt characters. Yeah, exactly. That's what I knew. I'm surprised you don't play Final Fantasy 14, because literally the entire game's mechanic was set up so that you don't have to have alts. Every character just has jobs that they switch through, and you just go in and just level the jobs. I am
or New World. New World is not like
New World is free form, and it's kind of built around like what your gear is and stuff like that. I know that, but there are differently from this. You have abilities that are tied to the subclass. So, but I mean, like even you guys have known this too. When we do run multiple characters, it's like we're gonna do it week 1 because we're gonna try to go for our 24-hour run for the raid.
Right. Of course.
So you kind of need to lean on those other characters to gear up, to get other gear, to then put it to your other character, and kind of like do the relay race of handing off for that stuff.
Of course.
That's most of the time that I play 3 characters. Generally speaking, I've been dabbling with Hunter in Crucible with Trials recently. But I mean, pretty much everybody who really plays a lot of Destiny, if you don't play a crap load of Destiny like we do, you're playing one character. Like, I mean, I was
just curious.
That's facts. Yeah. But I mean, even within our clan, like everybody very clearly has their roles, for it. It's, week one, you're running a hunter. Will's going to play a warlock. I'm going to play a Titan. Moose is probably going to play her hunter that she's been doing and stuff. Like, so like we all kind of have that preconceived like niche of like what we're doing. Crape's going to play all three characters. He's never going to level either of them. Like, we all just have like a system. Like it's kind of just preset. So like the thing with that is when you add more depth to a subclass, it makes it more fun and more fulfilling to spend more time with one class to be like your main, so to speak. So I like it. I'm excited for it.
I was just curious if it was going to change it, but I'm glad it seems to not have changed it.
I do want to bring it back to the subclass here. Moose brought up a very interesting point in chat, that the diagram as displayed here, there are no grenade choices on Behemoth beyond the wall.
Beyond the wall. Yeah. I mean, so here's my take on that. I think that's probably good, and that's probably for balance. I think also, additionally, how minuscule are the differences between the grenades? Like for Titan Striker grenades, they all feel pretty good. The Void Titan has, the Sentinel has the suppressor nades and the stickies. Solar has the shootout ones where it shoots out flame. Every class,
it could also be that maybe in the future, like you do have your base grenade, but then maybe future aspects might change the look and feel of that grenade.
I was going to say that's a possibility as well. We see that the aspects and the fragments. But also, honestly, I don't really even mind if they decided to nix giving us grenade options, because the classes, much like the jumps, the classes are pretty straightforward with which jump you're going for or which grenade you're going for. Like, they honestly have like the least feeling of difference across the whole thing. So I disagree. And again, really, in D1 there was a big difference. In D2 there is hardly any.
I mean,
fight me on it.
As a warlock guy, I know that like my nades do a bunch of different things, whether it's like area denial basically with either vortex or solar nades, whether it's tracking with like arc bolt or firebolt or the void bolt nades, and then there's like a specialty one for each class. So like the storm grenade has a pulse. But
it's the same as the Striker Titan's pulse.
Right, it's like there's different types of grenades that can be shared between the classes, but like,
there are. But what
each one has a different use.
I guess what you could do. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say my argument is just that like each subclass has one that's very meaningful, and the rest generally aren't. And there's difference. I mean, like using as a Titan Sentinel, if I'm using a suppressor grenade, it's very different than throwing a sticky grenade. But ultimately, there's kind of like each subclass has its own trait. And I think if they did away with them, even temporarily, for the sake of figuring out the balance of how Stasis fits in with not only the PvE and like the end game meta for that, but also for PvP, because that's going to be a big part of it. Whether or not Destiny wants to ever admit there's a Crucible lead or not, Crucible is a very big part of Destiny.
So. I think what we might see, I think with Stasis the way it is now, and we're showing the one type of grenade, I think what we might see with the other subclasses is you might see the one grenade, but then you might see the changes as far as the aspects as might be different grenades. So this gives them the opportunity to also change it. If they know that nobody uses a certain grenade, or there's a very small population that uses this, so they know that, like in the case of like say the Titan, like the suppressor grenade is kind of situational. Like you might use that more in certain settings and not always. Maybe that's just a fragment change as opposed to a full-on grenade swap, and then you can keep sort of the fragments and modify all those at will or something. Just a thought.
This trailer is so cool looking.
Oh yeah,
whoever did the editing is brilliant. I loved how that switched. I think it's just so cool. This is better than their last trailer by a lot. I love this one.
Superman punch.
I love it. But yeah, I completely agree. I think there's an opportunity to make them more pivotal, but We'll see. I have a feeling that we're speculating a lot on this, and day one there's just going to be like a choice between the 3 grenades, just like there always has
like
been.
this is just,
I feel like we're like over speculating on it. Like it's just gonna be like, oh, they're all
it's
there,
not
whatever.
implemented in whatever.
We just didn't see it. Yeah, exactly. Whatever their build was, they just didn't have it, or you could see it, but
Yeah,
that it'll be there. So
cool.
makes sense.
Let's put a bow on it the same way that we did on the last one. As a hunter, Lucas, you're playing against Fisty Boy. What changes?
I think it's going to be definitely going to have to play a lot more at range. I think with this type of class as a hunter, definitely going to have to stay as far away as possible because I have a feeling if I get close to a behemoth, I'm going to get smashed in a million pieces. Way more so than now.
Very similar to like a Silverstein song. You'll be smashed into pieces. For me, I think the interesting thing that I'm anticipating is just like random line of sight changes, because like with these nades, with the super abilities to just make these pillars of cones and stuff, now you're gonna have to contend with that in the middle of a firefight, and it could throw. I know that's gonna throw me off. Like it's gonna happen.
Also, sightlines too. You throw a grenade, and all of a sudden you have a different sightline because somebody's behind the wall, like in the middle of a map, which there was never anything there before.
What are you gonna do if you go fighting multiple? Like, let's say it's a 6v6 and everyone's using their stasis class, and they all throw their world building grenades like around something. What if they just chuck? Literally, what if you can area deny? What if you can build yourself in around the heavy, and then you just get the heavy?
You see 6 people huddle around the heavy with their wall.
Yeah, crank 90s, bro.
This is
what if you could do it?
Well, I mean, that's like why like there's hero lock in Overwatch, and not everyone can be Mei, right?
Right.
But this is different. This is Destiny, so who knows?
It is. It's a thing.
Well, that would definitely necessitate game engine updates to account for all of these building random things that could be anywhere.
I'm assuming that they've got either the game limits it, or like there's a very rapid cooldown on it, so that they're not pushing. I mean, imagine 12 players shooting a wall out at the same time. We're gonna see some fun videos for sure. Like either way, we're gonna see some good. We're gonna see some good videos. Oh, that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Yeah. Oh, the second we have a tank or something, I'm gonna try to throw the grenade under it to see if it shoots the tank up. We're gonna go into Scourge. Oh, we can't go into Scourge. It's gonna be retired. I was gonna say we're gonna go to Scourge and see what that fight's about, where you could wall the guy off so you can easily snipe all of his pieces and stuff.
What if the wall stops the giant flaming servitor from progressing?
Oh, I would love it. I'm assuming that it can. I'm assuming honestly that like our speculation on this, it'll probably be more pivotal in PvP than PvE. Yeah. I'm assuming it's the same way that if you, let's say you're a bubble titan and you're on a barge that moves and you bubble on that, it doesn't move. Like there's no way to connect the piece to it. You're basically, your ability goes out until it's stopped by terrain, and once terrain stops it, it stays like in the
wherever
air,
it is.
Wherever it is. There's no.
And I know you had complaints about like the Titan wall where you put it up on a stairs or something, and then it's just your feet get shot out.
Yeah, my Titan wall is honestly less of a mechanical issue about that aspect of the game, more of a geometry issue. Is that like the game doesn't know, like when there's a slight taper, like for example in the that past week's one before, the Nightfall, there's a spot where you kind of like no, it's the one on Nessus where you're inside the crater of the Nessus. You go down like this slight like little bit of like a decrease, and if you put the wall, like the wall's different, like the floor differential is like this. If you put your barricade on this part of it, it counts it being the same height as this, so the barricade hovers above this. But your opponents can still shoot, like if you're on Master Nightfall or Grandmaster Nightfall, they'll hit you. Like the AI is good, so they're going to be shooting your feet, and it's a pain in the ass. You're like, why am I wasting energy to put up a Titan barricade to shoot through? Or even I was running Sight and Ramparts to shoot through them to get safety and to create damage mitigation for my team. And it just didn't work because you just got your feet shot out, which is super annoying. So that's I guess more of just a geometry issue is my gripe. But yeah.
I can't wait to load into what is the map that is the Nessus map now? It's in the Black Garden, but it was in D1 as well. It's got the cube in the center. There's a waterfall.
Oh yeah. It used to be called Pantheon. I played on it again the other night, literally like Tuesday night, and I'm like, oh, that's the name of this map in D2, because I always just call it Pantheon.
Yeah.
Because
I can't
the same way I called the other one Shores of Time. I'm like, it just whatever your first name was, that's what your name is.
To chuck a wall grenade into the air and just have it have the perfect spot for it to come down and right where the sniper sight line is, like looking into mid, and just watch
wall it off,
freak out.
I mean,
Thank you, Space
that'll
Moose.
be fun.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
There's a lot of cool area denial and map control things that I think this sort of helps with that for some of the maps where they're more sniper heavy or long range heavy in that particular. This helps you close the distance, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. I'm definitely with it. I think it's also going to be interesting because, and I sort of hope that we see a meta shift for the weapons along with this. I'm assuming that that's going to come towards the end of the season for the sandbox changes. But I think having terrain and building terrain, just like you were talking and made the Fortnite comment, that does kind of change your dynamic of Crucible, right? Things are going to be different if you can stop being chased, or if you can completely slow. Honestly, I think of it in terms of like in 6v6, that's always going to be chaotic anyway. But imagine in trials, if you can cut off an entire lane and your team has to play around that lane. Like let's say it's normally a very, very open snipe lane, and there's a ton of times where I'm like, man, I love this map, but just this little piece, I hate how careful I have to play, and I hate that I can't really play a vertical game because of this open space X, Y, or Z. Imagine now being able to create that closed space. So you're almost sort of creating lanes and closing off lanes. And it's especially being that Destiny's Crucible is based a lot around the snipe lanes and how to deal with snipers and limiting their access to you and your team. That's gonna be interesting.
Dude, imagine how broken this would be in Rift.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Like you're right about to slam that shit in, and then just ice wall.
Zhunk. You just get made. That's why I quit Overwatch. I couldn't handle May.
I mean,
it's kind of May.
I was a May main, not gonna lie.
I'm sure you
enjoy it. In every game I play, I love crowd control. That's why I play Guardian and Guild Wars with a great sword or hammer. I love being annoying like that.
The thing that killed me with May is that you would get frozen, and then you'd see the May player just kind of perfectly line up the shot, and they would like just tweak it, and they're like, think, and you're dead. Why? I was like, this is like 0.4 seconds of agony. That it's so memorable to me, or I'm like just waiting for them. They're just they're hitting like A or D just to like kind of like perfectly line up the shot, and then just like like you have to watch them do that because you're frozen. I'm like, oh, of course, hate it so much. And I love ice powers. Sub-Zero main forever. Always like everything to do with ice.
Big fan. Let's move on.
I'm excited.
Let's go to the TWAB, or as Moira, our first guest, said, the TWAB.
The TWAB. I never heard it called a TWAB before.
Do you want to go through this, or how do we want to hit this?
Sorry, I was taking a sip. So this is the first substantial TWAB that we've actually had in a decent bit, I want to say.
I think so. That's fair.
So like with this, they're talking about some stuff. They kind of hit us with the new Stasis info, Warlocks and Titans. Now, so here's where it gets interesting. Triumphs evolved. If you scroll down to that area, they mentioned some stuff. This is also a TWAB from Cosmo, talking about the content vaults. Mentioned that you should start finishing off triumphs. This is one of the first times in Destiny's history that they've told us, hey, you're going to want to do this because this stuff, this and this is going to go away. You're going to be able to get it later. Some stuff you might want to just actually get into and just do it. So they're saying they're starting off with like the goals and how the triumphs are going to work and how they're going to evolve. They want to provide pursuits for all players, which love it. Provide seasonal pursuits that match the season of Destiny, which is great. We need more cohesive of a thing. I've often felt and I've criticized the seasonal content where it's like I'm filling out my season pass for the ornaments, the cosmetics, and to just get whatever the exotic, like for those free to play players, you're hitting level 50 just so you can get the exotic, so you're not missing out on it. Aside from that, the seasons don't really leave a memorable impact. You're getting a certain amount of loot that's going to be legendary, that's going to get sunset. Now that we know it's getting sunset, you're really chasing the exotic and the cosmetics, like the universal ornaments and the emotes. So anything that they do to provide more substance to a season, I'm all about. So I love the idea of the seasonal pursuits. And sure, everyone can show off their accomplishments, make all triumphs have a score. Thank you.
Yep.
How many times have you done something fucking insane in Trials or Iron Banner, and you're like, cool, can't wait to go cash in my 0-point triumph? Like, why? Like, why is that a thing? I love that they're addressing that.
Yep.
And then they're making sure it's clear what happens when it goes into the vault. So good stuff all around there. Talking about an evolving world, they touched last time. I was talking about triumphs. It's critical that the triumphs challenging each season, and not only the most dedicated are going to earn them all to get max score. So I like that. And then they're also saying it's important that new players have a chance to climb and get some triumph and stuff, no matter when they join. Perfect too. There's going to always be some stuff that you want to be able to give people. And they're referencing Shadowkeep here. So then they go down a little bit to say an evolving set of triumphs for an evolving world. So what are they going to be? They're going to be reorganizing the triumphs to make them more compatible with the worlds. They're going to create a career score that represents the totality of what you've done in Destiny 2. And then there's going to be an active score, which are for things that can be done now. So like a current thing, because they're going to be archiving stuff. Some of that stuff's going to be moving into it. Same way if you would like Xbox or PlayStation achievements. At a certain point, game servers get shut down. You can't get 100% of a game anymore. You're going to, there's only a certain amount of time that you can get stuff. I think this is all great for the game. We want to feel that whole vibe of showing off our guardians and stuff like that. Organizing the rest of the triumphs around the seasons is great. Track the history of what you've done as legacy triumphs. And then Beyond Light's going to include a set of triumphs that target this year's destination, Europa. All of them have a score. They're going to include content that's in the destination, the story missions, the strikes, the layers, and even some secrets. And I want to take a second to talk about this. One thing that I've always said is in Destiny 1, when they first introduced the books, if you remember, that's kind of how triumphs and stuff like that really originated from. It was sort of the grimoire. But then when the first book came out with SRL's first season, they had an entire little subsection of quests. And we've always talked about how Helter Skelter, the whole quest system is. All of your stuff was in the book. You can go through the book and be like, I want to check off everything and get all the stamps. And it's nice and organized. It's nice and easy. You can go into the different books that you got over time. You can check that stuff out. And it looks like they are getting to some of the stuff. Will's scrolling up to that screenshot right there. Make that big if you can.
Make big.
Go ahead and make big on that. So along the right side, we've seen our entire triumph scene. One, they're going with a dark UI, which chef's kiss, #smile. I'm so excited about this. Stop looking at like these really, really bright sections of the menu that I happen to hang out in all the time because I'm looking over stuff. So thank you, whoever was like, hey, can you just make this dark mode? I love you. So on the right side, we see medals, which are all the different things that you get. That's been, a big thing in all of Bungie's games going back to Halo. You killed, 7 Guardians in one life, or, within a certain amount, getting a 7th column, all that stuff. You're going to be able to go and look through that and be like, hey, yeah, I did that. I got this on this day, whatever. However they end up doing it. You've got catalysts in a place. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, it's right there. You've got lore in its own section. Thank you.
Lore in the game.
Lore is there, and it's in a readable section that I don't have to drill down 3 different tabs to be able to find. So yes, thank you. And then stat trackers, which is great. And I really hope, like, going into stat trackers, the 3 other things we kind of understand. Stat trackers, Bungie, let me talk to you for a second here. With stat trackers, I don't want to have to switch my gun. I understand that keeping counters for every kill that a player has ever done on a thing is a big deal and is very annoying. I understand all that, right? But let me have something that I can remember in a way that's meaningful at all more than just, oh, I forgot to put my stat tracker on, or I was using this gun for a whole week and I didn't get to track any of the kills on it or do any of the cool stuff with it. If you're gonna bother to introduce these little minutia kind of very niche kind of things like a kill tracker, thank you for putting it somewhere nice. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you. I am petty with the amount of kills that I have, comparing them to the rest of our clan. It's something that we do. I'm sure there's a lot of other Destiny clans out there that do that. But thank you for putting them in a nice little section. I love the way that this looks. And all of that thing there. We've got our seals and stuff on the bottom. We've still got our main Triumph nodes there in the middle, those 8 large circular sections. They look to be retooled a little bit too. I see like a snowflake one, which I'm assuming is probably like their seasonal section, which makes total sense. To put the seasonal stuff in its own thing. I'm seeing what looks like a Vanguard one. I'm seeing one that looks like a Dreaming City one. I'm seeing a Scorn looking one. So I'm going, okay, these are for specific parts of the game, specific locations even. So I like devoting all of this. This kind of reminds me of the books. Like I could see there is the on the bottom row, the second one in from the right side is kind of that little tri wheel, which if for those of you who know, that is actually the symbol for the AI that's on Nessus. I forget her name. We love her. She was the one that worked with Failsafe. That's Failsafe's symbol. So my kind of guess is that if you click on that node, that'll be probably the stuff for Nessus, like your Triumphs on Nessus.
If bad news, clicking on it, nothing's happening.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's okay. We'll look at that after. We'll send in a ticket.
Come on,
so yeah.
Plasma, what the hell, man?
But on the top right, you can see that that's the Luna symbol. So like that is most likely going to be stuff for the moon, and Scorn and so on.
The only thing that I was curious about is I assume these are still in progress, maybe. But I like how they have like I like the overall look and feel of it. But like the like underneath Triumphs, it'd be almost nice if they'd have like text with it as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know your UI design sense is triggered. I'm thinking when you hover it with a mouse, it'll probably do
that makes sense. Again, we don't know, but it's just I'd like to also because I will associate the icon more if I see it with text a lot. I guess it could be just
I feel you.
Yeah.
No, I feel you 100%. You notice the 2 numbers on top there. There's 8,810 out of 16,000. And then there's 8,810 out of just the Destiny symbol, which I'm assuming is the global overall forever Triumph score. So there's
some other thing they said. Career
versus like the career and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that's going to be our 2 numbers. I don't love the idea of 2 numbers. I kind of liked that they gave you like, hey, here's how much your score is versus how much your potential ceiling is. I thought that was a good, clean system, but I understand also legacy and stuff like that. So, what do you think about this, Will?
I just want to know what these symbols are. Specifically, this one on the bottom right.
It's got to be season. It's got to be season.
I don't know.
Or maybe that's Stasis. That might be actually, if we're going by location, that's probably going to be the new location, Europa, because it's wintry. It's going to have the Stasis thing. Europa is literally an ice planet. I'm probably wrong. That's probably Europa. Because if the rest of these are locations, the Dreaming City, the Tangled Shore,
the Aramis symbol though, House Devils, or the new.
They might. They picked the Luna symbol for the moon, and you could have put Eris's rock there, but they wanted a more general moon logo. I guarantee you, because look at that. I don't know what top left and number 1 and number 2 are. But number 3 is okay.
Nightwing.
This one's Cantaloupe.
Oh god, it does look like cantaloupe slices, and I hate cantaloupe.
So I think it's interesting about this specific fallen one.
That's Tangled Shore.
Yes.
Spider.
But did he always have these little legs come off? Isn't it normally just the symbol, like the 8 with the little horns and the leg?
No, it's had the X. That's the symbol.
Okay, never mind.
Hypothesis canceled. Hypothesis canceled.
There we go.
It's no, I see what you mean. Like they might be tweaking the logos a little bit. They might. but I'm pretty sure for Tangled Shore that one's looked the same. But yeah, that looks like Europa, Luna, the Scorn. The Scorn one, I don't know what would be different about it as opposed to Tangled Shore, because that's where we handle the Scorn a lot. But I'm willing to see, to be surprised. That's what we're doing. Also, if you look on the far left, there's 2 buttons. There is like you see that there? Yeah. So there would be like a second page of Triumph. So we're gonna probably see a lot more from the Triumph Switch. I love this is so much cleaner. The bottom line is this is way better than what it's been. I know people were speculating. Yes. I know Coffee Hazard was speculating what exotics could be in there. I know we see the Deathbringer as having exotic catalyst and heir apparent and such and so forth. So
breath.
I mean, why wouldn't they put an exotic catalyst with every exotic? It just makes the most sense.
Yes.
Like it just makes sense. And I hope they retool some of the older catalysts to actually be more than stability, lol. Like I'd like to actually see them be like functional.
But you really need stability on Jade Rabbit, even though it has like 2 bullets in the clip.
It doesn't. You literally, that is the most useless exotic, I think, honestly, as someone who likes Jade Rabbit and who I got Jade Rabbit like day 2 of Taken King. I had that gun like before anybody. And I loved that thing. I even made a video of soloing
First
a boss.
It was Xenophage, and now it's Jade
soloing
Rabbit.
A boss. Jade Rabbit. I was the first person on my server to get Jade Rabbit. Okay,
first Jade Rabbit.
Don't even at me. I don't even want to hear.
What server were you even? Okay.
Continuing on. With my rant, yeah, it's when you had the 3 of coins, and you could go in, you can stack them, and you could do that thing where you farmed that fallen boss. I got a bunch of exotics, and I got Jade Rabbit. It was a great time. Anyway, moving on. This stuff is good. I love all the stuff that they're doing. They're moving the Legacy and Beyond stuff, season 5 through 11 titles and different things like that. Moving on, so these will no longer be earnable. Let's go over these titles. So what you can earn still, this is good to know. Unbroken, Gambit, Flawless, Conqueror, Harbinger, Enlightened, Cursebreaker, Riven's Bane, a redacted Beyond Light one, a Season 12 one, and then another one, which makes sense. Then they're moving into Legacy is going to be Shadow, Reckoner, Blacksmith, Wayfarer, Chronicler, and all of these seasonal titles, which you couldn't, some of them you can kind of finish after. There's like a few little discrepancies where you'd be able to do that, but that makes sense. So, but Chronicler, Wayfarer, Blacksmith, Reckoner, and Shadow makes sense for it to go away because of Leviathan. But Reckoner is going away. Blacksmith is going away. Also, Wayfarer and Chronicler. I need to finish Chronicler. That's one that I've wanted. That was one of the first title that I wanted to go and get. I still haven't gotten it. So I'm going to go finish Chronicler. So interesting. I'm really glad that they came out and just said all of this stuff. This is something that we've needed. So this is good. And the last little bit is in the swab. What are you saying about metals, catalysts, and lore moving? The metals and the catalysts are going to have their own sections and be easier, which we went over. Lore is its own section. Lore through Stevens arrivals will be available to all players. And so forth. This covered the same thing that they were saying. New lore will be unlocked through triumphs going forward and eventually be made available to everyone when they become legacy. So they wanted to stop walling players off from reading the lore, and I'm assuming that they will all be readable within the game at a certain point. That's it for the TWAB Iron Banner next week. And the weapons are literally just the auto rifle and the sidearm. I am depressed. Why don't we have another rotation?
Is that the 600 again?
That's the 600 RPM,
right?
And it's the
all season.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd Iron Banner of the season, right? And there is the same set of guns again.
Are you still able to get the that one bow from that one season?
Bow?
The stag or whatever?
Last season was the bow. I didn't get it either. Because I was just like I last season in Destiny was not great.
So apparently the symbol, let me go back to this. Moose just texted me a picture. So going back to this, the image she sent me says that the image second in from the left top row is Cosmodrome.
Okay, that's on. Yep, it's on Aldrin's Grimoire card.
Okay. All right.
symbol on his thing. That makes sense. I like that.
EDZ
Cosmodrome.
is the one I didn't know about, which was this bottom right one
EDZ
here.
would be the
Sorry, this
flowery
bottom
one.
right.
I guess maybe it's a flower. I was looking at it as an ice thing.
Um,
Okay, Europa makes sense there, and then it could be a seasonal raid, Dreaming City, Tangled Shore, Nessus. All right, we were kind of right about the other ones. Cool. All right, I like that. Yeah.
I have no reaction.
You have no reaction?
I mean, it's stuff that we should have known. Like, my reaction's like, shit, we should have just guessed because we forgot about EDZ. Like, we're dumb. That's my reaction.
I'm honestly always in a state of being ready to let the EDZ go as a location. I loved it when it first dropped, but like, it's literally the EDZ screams potential that.
Hello? Lucas, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
We lost Perk again. Here we go again.
Oh no.
It screams potential. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. That is a interesting freezing image, though, that I see. Poor Perk.
Jesus Christ.
Oof. Wow.
Well,
Ready.
continuing on,
Yes.
let's talk about why you hate gradients.
No, let's not talk about why we hate
No,
gradients.
we need to fill time until Perk comes back. So here comes the very first Ixlock Lucas rant.
No, we are not. We are not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm actually. We mentioned Iron Banner. I am kind of excited for Iron Banner again. I wish that we had some different weapons, or maybe we're allowed to get the stag or do that again, because that is something I missed and didn't play during that season, so I never got it, and I would like to get it at some point. So that's one of those things that I would like. This is the same armor, though, correct?
Yeah, the armor is the same. I'm just gonna put your face up while we wait for Perk to come back.
Sure.
Listen,
Okay.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
You trying to? My other computer didn't turn off this time, so I heard what you're saying. I saw my face being stuck like that, and I saw you trying to bait him into talking shit about gradients behind my back. You are the usurper now.
He is the usurper.
I'm just trying to produce a show. We had time to fill.
You are the pot stirrer. So,
I kept it to Destiny, and I kept it something I was looking for.
Yeah,
I want the bow. That's what it comes down to. Is I want the stag bow.
No. The stag bow, like that was one of the things where like I was kind of raging on Iron Banner. So as somebody, like, I loved Iron Banner and its whole thing forever. It was like it was actually the first time I hit max level because I didn't raid in Vault of Glass when it launched. We did it a little bit after the launch. So I used Iron Banner to kind of climb the ranks a little bit in that first few months of Destiny. But for Iron Banner, for me, one, I have always loved the Iron Lord's lore. It's amazing. The way that the gear looks is so much better than like everything else. I love the aesthetic. But here's the thing. Iron Banner has gone from having some of the best guns objectively in Destiny to literally some of the bottom of the barrel. Like, what's good from Iron Banner? Realistically, what's good from Iron Banner? Swarm of the Raven, and literally nothing else. Even Orwig's Maul's fine. Like the slug shotgun's fine. The auto rifle is fine. They're fine. The wolf claw pulse, like the low impact high rate of fire pulse, it's good. But at a certain point too, though, like they're fine. Like Iron Banner guns, a once a month type of content should not be fine. Once a month content should be like, oh shit, guys, we've got to go get this. We were gonna do this other game, but Iron Banner is up, and this is our opportunity to get like a shitload of really good guns or good rolls or something like that. Iron Banner in Destiny 2 has been nothing but a letdown on a colossal level, in my opinion. The stag from last season, cool. The armor sets, cool. But why is it behaving like this? I don't understand it. I literally don't get why they've got Iron Banner the way that they are.
I can tell you.
I'm honestly upset about it.
100% tell you why. Because there's a separation between PvE and PvP players.
Yep.
And if you put something good behind a PvP wall, something good behind a PvP wall, then people complain about it. I mean, that's exactly why people complain about Mountaintop, and that's why there is like an kind of toxic ecosystem of people paying for recups. Like,
but no one's going to pay for. Yeah, and yes, you're right. But Iron Banner has never had no one yet.
It's like supposed to be. It was supposed to be the sort of next level of PvP, right? But it just became this monthly thing where occasionally we get cool loot out of it, and it's another way to just level your character if you'd like, but that's kind of what it is now.
It's just become kind of a thing where you're like, oh right, Iron Banner, I guess I should do this because pinnacles. Like that's it. The guns aren't really good. They've put like a stopgap. And my thing is this too, if you're gonna make the same crap basically for Iron Banner, give me the quest for the bow again. Arguably one of the few good things that you did with Iron Banner and Destiny. Give me the bow. I don't even care if the bow is going to get sunset next spring. Just let me at least.
The last one before. This was the last one before that.
Right. And like there was a stat thing where it was like I think the first or second Iron Banner of this season was the most participated in Iron Banner of Destiny 2. Period. Like period. Like there was more engagement and there's more people playing in it. So with that, why wouldn't you put the quest back in that you can get a unique item?
Yep.
It makes sense.
Or does it?
Does it? Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you want more people to participate in something? You're going to go through and let a gun or a weapon that was hardly able to be like, how many people were beating their head against the wall for Iron Banner last season? The population was way smaller. Probably, I would even make the wager that it's been the smallest it ever was last season.
Yeah, so I totally misinterpreted what you said.
Okay.
Because you asked the question like, why wouldn't you put it back in, and then pause. It makes sense as if you were answering your own question, but it was
okay.
not. It was like it was like the same sentence.
No. Sorry.
So yeah, I think that wraps up the TWAB. My reaction on Iron Banner, I'm not gonna play it this week. No, think about how many other important things are happening in Destiny, and it's not necessarily like you have to make every event have some sort of like weight that trumps the other. And I think maybe Bungie knows this, which is maybe why they didn't put a change specifically on this week. But like the last 2 months, we've had the same guns that aren't that great. The shader is kind of shit. I really don't like the Michael Bay Transformers poster orange blue contrast. So yeah, not a fan, and I will abstain. Let's go into our last Destiny related note here, which was a fan creation called Fang. Fangs.
I like it. I saw this morning. I wanted to talk about this in the podcast. This is dope. Like the fan community for like fantasy weapons and like sci-fi magical guns and shit is just so good, and there's such a potential for it. Love that he's going for the barrel shape that Hawkmoon uses, as well as the grip. And I know the perk somebody was talking about on Reddit that they were speculating that it was the similar to the exotic perk that we heard of possibly coming for Hawkmoon's redesign, which is the next precision hit to deal additional damage, stacking up to 3 times. So cool little fantasy element either way, but the mock-ups that they put in game are absolutely wonderful. This gun looks good. I would want this.
You know what this gun looks
in
like?
game.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
This looks like McCree from Overwatch's gun. With like a barrel made for Hanzo.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
How would you not want that? I like that little support beam at the bottom. Like the sights look cool. Yeah. Dude, it's dope. Look at that one. Look at that ornament.
Yeah.
Look at that one. Dude, this guy's on it.
Look at
this. That one's really cool. I like that one.
It's a listening podcast, bro.
I love that. Yeah, we're just gonna make sounds as though we're actually
there's like different skins to this weapon, which are really cool.
We'll put it in the description for our audio podcast.
Yep.
The link to it is really cool.
Yep, you can also check us out on YouTube if you're missing out on this content, and if you're watching us live or watching us on YouTube, you can check us out on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. Also, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and there's a few others.
Podcasts.
Yes, podcasts. So it's us podcast boys. So let's wrap things up. I know we said we were going to talk about RPGs that we've been playing. I have a little challenge for you that I've just made up off the cuff. Pitch me the game that I should play, or we're going to pitch the viewers the game that they should play in their Destiny 2 off time before November 10th. We're going to start with Perk. You have 1 minute, 60 seconds to pitch me the MMO that you're going to play. Let me get my timer.
What if there's 6?
Da!
You pick one.
No,
It's like a debate.
I don't wanna.
I mean, if you want a Destiny feel, but third person, Marvel's
Okay, hold
Avenger.
on. Your time hasn't started yet, Lucas.
I honestly wanted him to go first, so that was perfect.
All right.
He showed his hand.
Lucas, you want to go first? Ready? 5, 4,
Go, Lucas.
3,
Go.
2, 1.
I mean, honestly, said it already in the beginning of the podcast and tried to slide it in occasionally as we were going through. But Marvel's Avengers, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. There's like the different you can upgrade. How your character interacts. Each character is different. Like Black Widow plays completely differently from Captain America, who plays completely differently from Kamala, from the Hulk. They're all cool. Like the Hulk can pick up like 2 enemies and like bash them together and throw them around. Like Black Widow's like she's hippity hopping all over the place, like using her grappling hook and doing all sorts of stuff. And it's really cool. The story is really good. And it definitely sets up this story going even further down the line. And like the next character that's coming out is like the Hawkeye characters.
5, 4.
So it's going to be great. I would suggest you play that while you're waiting for Destiny.
All right. Very succinct. Very skillful. You can tell he had the mark of an educational UIsman.
I don't even think I discussed UI.
No, but it was like verbally the visual equivalent or visual.
Audio equivalent.
Yep.
Audible is the name of the word. We're professionals.
We're also not sponsored by Audible, but Perk.
No, we're not.
You have 60 seconds on the clock starting now.
All right. Play Path of Exile. That's a game that you were not going to expect me to say because it's probably the game that I've played the least. I spent a good amount of time checking into it, all the different things. Ultimately, what I found out and there's going to be actually a video that we're going to put out about MMOs and ARPGs and stuff like that, of kind of like finding like a good middle ground in between a game to play when Destiny's in its downtime, because as much of a hardcore Destiny player as we are, as anybody can be, there's always going to be lag. So you're always going to want another game to get into to kind of satisfy that itch when you're kind of in the stretch between expansions. Path of Exile has arguably the best min-max compatibility and potential for any game, and that includes even games that kind of maybe even started the genre, like a Diablo or something like that, because of how willing to change the paradigm of each season to season in Path of Exile. There are builds that become so crazy and so different. The auction house, the trading system between players is monumental. You can't just go shop things. You really need to rely on players. There are content creators that will even change the paradigm for how expensive or value an item can be. Path of Exile. It's a really good looter shooter. No, it's not. It's a really good ARPG.
Damn.
I want to play a looter shooter. I want to play Destiny.
I let you go over because I was responding to Alex in chat. And
perfect. Bonus time. It's bonus time. You were expecting me to sell you an MMO. You were expecting me to say Elder Scrolls Online, weren't you? Aha.
All right, it's my turn. Ready?
I did it. Go for it.
Right.
It's going to be Guild Wars. Anyway, sell us Guild Wars.
Y'all motherfuckers thought I was going to sell you Guild Wars, but no, you're wrong. The game you should be playing in your downtime until November 10th is Dungeons and Dragons. Gotcha, bitches. All right, here's what's going on. Guild Wars 2, great game. Hurt me emotionally on the inside, so I just cannot recommend it because I have too much trauma. But Guild Wars has a lot of stuff that you might like, but what you might love and what games are all really about are hanging out with your friends and having a good time. And there's no better game to do that than Dungeons and Dragons. Fuck graphics, fuck a UI. You get in Discord, you get in Zoom, you turn on your camera, and you have one guy helping you tell a story of heroes fighting dragons and giants and beholders, and it's great. And Dungeons and Dragons helps you with your social skills if you're awkward. It helps you role play if you've never done that before. I love it, and I am done.
Never playing because you just tried to sell people Zoom. And
You can't try to sell people.
Can't jive with that.
One of my groups has to use
Flawed argument.
I want to use Discord, but it has to use Zoom
Why?
because one of my downstairs neighbor who's in my Friday group, for some reason, whenever they use Discord, they just bug out. So we have to do Zoom.
You should change your Discord channels to allow to lower the threshold for packets.
We'll make Zoom.
It makes better for people with like worse internet.
Yeah,
we have
also
that
just
for one of the
let them
channels.
use my Wi-Fi now that I live above them.
That's an option as well. It's good. No, that's great. I like all of our pitches. I kind of felt like Dungeons and Dragons was going to be coming. I got a lot of
good 3 choices though.
It is good. It is good. I got a lot of crap for admitting that I was going to play D&D with you guys. So when are we doing our first?
Hold on. Who gave you crap for admitting
I got
you
crap from my friend that wanted me to play with them.
Oh.
I got crap for playing it with a different group, is what I should say.
No, fuck them. We're the Caffeinds. We come first.
They're clanmates too.
Oh. Listen, if you're not gonna name names, I can't.
And
I can do.
And scene.
So D&D is coming. We're gonna make it a show. I gotta run. Dan still has to finish his character. We'll probably do.
I have to create a character, don't I?
Yeah, we'll do.
I got on the screen and got scared, and I needed Moose to help me, and I just haven't gotten Moose to help me yet.
I can help you.
That too.
All right.
But yeah, so we're gonna do that soon. Maybe we'll do a session over Labor Day if people are around. That will not be streamed, but we will eventually drop the Caffeinds D&D live show, or maybe post show. We'll see how.
And we're going to be doing the Destiny version, right? We're doing a warm up with like regular D&D, and then we're going to be doing the Destiny campaign, right?
Yeah, we'll see. We might stream the warm up a little bit just to see how that works and refine the process a little bit. And then we'll go into the Destiny one.
Good.
Cool. So there's one last piece of business that we always do every week. It's called Clan Affairs. We talk about our clan. We've already been talking about it. Normally we do the member of the week. I haven't been around to monitor the comms. Who do you think should be the member of the week this week, guys?
Member of the week.
Is it Taggy? Is it Big Tony with 9 ones? Is it?
Those were the 2 I were thinking of. Honestly, I enjoy in the chat hearing Big Tony talk about all of because he's just playing Destiny for the first time. You kind of get all this well, why is this like this, or why is this like this? I don't understand why this is this way, or I don't know what's going on here. And we're just oh yeah, that's how it is. It's fine. Just do this. It's fine. It's a nice little feel good thing.
I like it.
I appreciate Big Tony.
We'll go with Big Tony. Big Tony rants.
All right, Big Tony with 9 ones. Congratulations, you're officially Caffeined of the week.
Boom.
There it is. With the toxicity and the salt.
Love it.
The taste of my salty tears.
Love it.
It is officially September, guys, here on Twitch. If you have not dropped a sub on this channel, what are you waiting for? You can get 30% off your recurring subs. You can drop gifts that last a month for everyone else. And if you haven't done it yet, what used to be called Twitch Prime is now Prime Gaming. If you have Amazon Prime, then you can give one channel on Twitch a subscription for free. What that gets you is all of their emotes. Ours are coming very soon, and it supports the stream monetarily. If you choose us to be your recipient for Twitch Prime, we would very much appreciate it. All of the money that we have been getting lately for this stream and all the subs given, goes right back into making these streams better, making this channel better, and oh my god, there it is, Jared dropping 5 gifted subs. Congrats, Puckett, Hexakush, Frankie M3, Andromeda, and Critical Ape, dropping, getting your tier 1 subs from Jared from the Beetle.
Started nice and early in September.
And shout out to Puckett for being around as well. That was funny as hell. Oh, Moose subbed and there was no alert. That's suspect.
Oh no, sus.
Oh no.
Sus coming. Let's see. Is there anything else now that I've shilled?
I think the shilling was the last thing that we needed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it. We covered a lot of stuff. Lucas, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
No. We covered everything that I could have possibly wanted to talk about, including Marvel's Avengers.
There you go. You got to have that bit in there. Gradient.
I did.
Yeah, gradients. I do need to hear the gradient rant eventually. We can do it privately. I don't want to put you on blast, but I just need to know. Also, you can join our Guild Wars clan if you would like, so we can do guild missions and do a guild haul together, and we can get all the materials and all that shit. Yeah, cool. See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Right.
No, for real.
Bye.
We'll see you next week. Oh, wait. Hold on. Saturday, I'm back streaming to this channel. Sunday.
Saturday, me.
Yeah. Sunday Fun Day. Monday,
Sunday
Lucas.
Fun Day. Featuring who's on Sunday Fun Day this week, Lucas?
Pig is gonna be there this Sunday.
Yes, that's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah.
I've witnessed her playing Destiny for the first time a couple of years ago, and she swore at everything.
Nice.
It's pretty great.
A different type of gamer.
I really can't wait to watch, honestly.
Yeah.
So Sunday Fun Day, Carrying Pig will be featured, and it's going to be a great time. So, looking forward to seeing that. Will's on Saturday. Lucas again blessing us with Monday. I'll be back on Tuesday. I'm probably going to play Path of Exile. I'm not going to lie. We're going to be playing some different games. We're going to be switching it up, getting some vibes going.
Yeah, I'll probably stream Guild Wars, not going to lie.
Let's do it. Let's do it. It's okay. Normalize not playing Destiny for a little bit when there's downtime.
It's okay. And then also Moose, as usual, on Wednesdays. Cool. Now that's it for real. Chino. Jesus. All right, cool.
Whoa.
So let's read
Just
off
likes to be the top person.
Yeah, let's read off the people who just got subs. It's esports producer, aka Paul, Mr. Mojo Baggins, Pepperjack, Mob Assassin J, Yeet92i, Copper Bruce, Rhea Cat, Aleo the Fat Kid. Come on, bro. Littles Iprexo, and Ryhav24.
Love it.
There we go.
Love it. Oh,
I think
God,
we might have a sub war, so I'm gonna keep it going for a little bit. Here we go.
All right,
here we go.
We'll let that.
Peter, you got 10 seconds before we find someone for a raid.
Okay. He's saving up for it.
He's
saving up for it.
Let's sign off and we'll just hang out until Peter decides to figure some shit out. That said, thank you guys for being here. Episode 11 of the Caffeinds cast is over.
Over.
We'll get there.
We'll see you next week.
Shit.
Whoa.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
I can't count that high.
What just happened?
No, guys, we gotta throw the show out. All right, ready?
Right.
Sorry. Here's our new famous catchphrase. Don't get decaffeinated. Bye.